actually jump over to the TradingView platform now. And we'll take a quick look at what's been going on over here in the NASDAQ market. But one thing that I'm very fond of, Dan, is the volume profile. I think the volume profile is like the foundation, I think, for trade ideas and just being able to have any type of conviction in whatever it is that you're looking for. But just a quick brief run through on the volume profile. So what we'll do is we'll take the volume profile and we'll find these ranges called value areas. And in the value areas, it lets us know that about 70% of the trading activity occurs within these value areas because it's going to be the one standard deviation on the distribution, so that bell curve.
Sure.
So where it gets fat on that bell curve is kind of where our value areas will be. And the reason why that's significant is just because we understand there's more liquidity in those areas, so we understand time is going to spend more time in those ranges. So that just helps us gauge the market behavior a little bit better, right? So we're not going to be looking for breakouts in value areas because we understand price spends about 70% of its time in this range. We don't know exactly what's going to happen,
right?
But if price spends more than 50% of time in this range, it lets you know breakouts are going to fail more times than not.
Gotcha.
So with that being said, whenever we're trading within value and the market is confirming that we're range bound, what we'll look is for mean reversion strategies. So whenever the market gets too far out to its edges, then we'll use other tools to look and see if we can position ourselves for a mean reverting strategy. So all that to say, the only two things that we really need to pay attention to, because I think there can be a lot of noise in the market, is just our areas of interest. And right now, our areas of interest in the market is going to be over here at 25,104. And our next area of interest is going to be at 24,748. So that's going to be the value area low. And then the first number was a value area high, which kind of gives us that range, right?
Okay.
So now all we're going to do is just wait to see how price responds at our value area high. So a lot of the times it can just be a waiting game. It takes a lot of discipline. And I think as you see it more and more, you start to gain a little bit more confidence to actually pull the trigger. And then once you see how the numbers crunch after 100 trades, 200 trades, whatever it might be, then I think it doesn't seem so mystical after that.
Right.
So,
okay.
yeah. 100%.
So this is your system. This is the rules you follow.
100%.
Yeah.
It really falls under the idea of auction market theory.
Okay.
And it's another theory that's very popular actually within the crypto space. There's another software that I use. It was actually built for native crypto traders, actually.
Okay.
Funny enough, but I use it for the futures indices. But no, with that being said, it can just be helpful to at least know where the most market interest is at, right? Sure. And auction market theory just lets us know that it lets us know how and why the market moves, right? And I believe that the market's sole purpose is to seek fair value, right? Fair value being the price range or price level where buyers and sellers agree on price,
right?
And that's why we call it fair value, and that's why we call it the value area, right? And how do we know if buyers and sellers are agreeing on price? It's typically going to be the price range or price level, again, where price spends most of its time. That's how we can dictate market interest, right?
Okay.
So with that being said, this morning was pretty difficult. We had CPI today, so things got pretty volatile. But just for some quick analysis, we had marked off the data highs over here. Take whatever you might find valuable. But sometimes if you're looking to get long, if you guys, and we should track more statistics on this. One thing that we should do is we should start taking the data highs, data lows from CPI, FOMC, whatever it might be, and start doing more fun calculations. Maybe we can even make a YouTube video about it, spin one up into like a Bitcoin style one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that is actually a big thing like that Bitcoin traders focus on is
What's
like
that?
Fair value.
Oh, yeah.
And so they have like different ratios like MVRV. I actually have this software called Crypto Quant.
Okay.
And it breaks down all this. CoinGlass is another piece of software.
Okay.
And in the futures markets, in particular in Bitcoin, in crypto, is the perpetual future, which I think we've talked about a number of times, and it's the funding rate.
Right.
Kind of gives
you mentioned that last time we spoke.
Yeah. It's based off of like a funding rate mechanism, which is sort of like how swaps work, interest rate swaps and stuff. So it's like if the funding rate is high, traders will short to bring it back down to the spot, closer to the spot price. Yeah. So it just kind of gives like an idea of where fair market value is. Yeah. And a lot of times, market analysts point to that number to say like, okay, Bitcoin was clearly overvalued at 126,000, but maybe like back in the 60s, low 70s is where fair market value should be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it works a lot better on Bitcoin in particular.
I hear you.
But, yeah.
I hear you. Curious. Do you know of any crypto traders that utilize order flow at all? Or is that a topic you even, dove into the slightest at all? I know
Probably.
you're like in the crypto weeds, and I know there's so many.
Yeah, I would think so. A lot of what people follow are like exchange flows, and then now with the ETF flows to kind of give an idea of like what people are doing on chain. So there's different analytics you can follow because you can kind of see everyone's wallet. You can kind of see kind of how like miners, right? Like in the Bitcoin space, like where miners are selling, where their break even is. Some of that is useful. I don't know. I'll have to do a deep dive on that. Maybe I'll get the research team to help me because
Be fun.
I think that there's like a whole other side of the market that isn't just like punting meme coins and like random stuff. There's actually real flows and
100%.
trade.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know what you find. But no, we had a couple value areas. We were using this value area high as some level of support, a little bit in the pre-market, guys. Then we had CPI about 30 minutes later. Then we rip up here right to our point of control. We see a little bit of market reactions at our point of control. Point of control just being the price level that did have the most trading activity, and that usually shows up as a volume node on the volume profile.
Okay.
But with that being said, we put in the data highs over here. We're just going to do a quick walkthrough of what happened today. Market opens up. We sell off back to our next value area. Now, whenever the market sells off into something like this, we have to ask ourselves, now, are we accepting into a new level of value, or are we going to use this again as a level of support, kind of like how we saw 2 times in the pre-market? But with that being said, we rallied back up to our next level of value, and things started getting choppy, right? So whenever I personally see something like this, the market flying back inside value, flying back outside of value, and just that barcode type action, especially around a value area, that's just more of a sign for me to be like, yo, step out the charts before you do something stupid. Like,
When it chops around like that.
especially at our areas of interest. It's like, all right, bro, hop off the charts before you for real do something stupid, because I think the longer the market does things like that, you can get a little bit frustrated.
Right.
You don't want that to come out in your behaviors, and you want to just check yourself sometimes. So just pointing out, today wasn't the best price action, and was kind of making those comments to myself. But with that being said, it looks like we're rallying right now as VIX is making new lows on the day. So lastly, again, we'll spin back around to this. Thanks for watching. The more you build on these lessons, the more systematic this process will become. The goal is to take you from isolated trades to a repeatable trading process you can rely on. Click through to watch more.